surrounds itself with all these, with the thread. So how the silkworm actually surrounds itself with thread in seeking protection. That's what we say. We say the silkworm wants protection, and for that he builds around itself a whole shell consisting of the silk thread. So that poor silkworm actually produces silk thread, and then it weaves a whole shell around itself. It is said that someday it would come out of that shell, penetrating the shell. That's the purpose. So therefore, to create this silk thread out of its own saliva must be the natural instinct of that silkworm, and having fulfilled that instinct, having done that job, it wants to penetrate that shell and come out. Except this human being doesn't allow that. Because the silkworm penetrates, then you will not have unbroken thread. So in order that you can have unbroken thread, this fellow will pluck all those shells and put them in hot water, so the silkworm is killed, and then you can get that silk thread. This is very crude, but human being always does it, because he thinks that he is smart and he is powerful, and therefore he uses his power to exploit the rest of the world. That's how he gets the honey also. So therefore he sets a fire underneath, and from the smoke or the heat of the fire, all the honeybees, they will fly away, and he quietly picks up the honey. This papa, where will it lead him? What will happen to us? If we live a life like this, and at the cost of so many creatures, we think that we can get away with it. No, all this dharti combined, this is all we have to go through. Not that we want to, not that we are indifferent to what is happening. All I am saying is, we are inviting this to ourselves by leading a life which is based on, or which is, which doesn't take into account such an amount of destruction that we are incurring or we are bringing about to the rest of the creation. And this is nothing. This is nothing. Or cutting down all the forests and destroying all the wildlife, etc., is nothing. He does much more than that. But anyway, so koshakaravat atmanam veshtayati, like a koshakara, this fellow veshtayati, he also creates that shell around himself. Karmamargeva atmanam pranidadat, and therefore atmanam pravartayan, he always impels himself on the path of karma. Bahirmukhi bhutaha, being extrovert, self-denying, nasvam lokam pratijanati, does not know his own world. Tathaja taitriyake, that's what Taittiriya Upanishad said, agnimugdho haiva dhumatantaha svam lokam na pratijanati. This fellow, fascinated by the karmas we perform by the Agni, ends up in dhuma marga, and thus he does not even look at his own world. In short, he performs the karma, denying himself, because he wants to accomplish things that are unaccomplished. And that is what, so we'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sokamada Jayamesya Satrajayeya Asavittam Mesya Asakarma Kurviya Iti Etavan Vaikamaha Necham Sanato Bhuyo Vinde Tasmadapi Etarhi Ekaki Kamede स्यात् अथ प्रजायेय अथ वित्तं मे स्यात् अथ कर्म कुर्वीयेति यावदप्येतेषामेकैकं न प्राप्नोति अकृष्ण एव तावन्मन्यते तस्य कृष्णता मन एवास्यात्मा वाग्जाया प्राणप्रजा चक्षुर्मानुषं वित्तम् चक्षुषा हि तद्विन्दते श्रोत्रं दैवम् श्रोत्रेण हि तच्छृणोति आत्मैवास्य कर्म आत्मना हि कर्म करोति स एष पान्तो यज्ञः पान्तः पशुः पान्तः पुरुषः पान्तमिदं सर्वं यदिदं किञ्च तदिदं सर्वमाप्नोति य एवं वेद एतावान् वै कामः. This much indeed is kama. This much is the scope of the desire. Or this is the scope of the desirable objects. So it is pointed out here how the desire pertains to two things, sadhana and sadhya. So jaya, putra, vitta, karma. Jaya me syat, atha prajaya, atha vittam me syat, atha karma kurviya. So jaya, praja, karma, vitta and karma. These asanas of the desires pertain to sadhanam, the means by which you can accomplish sadhya, which is considered with the loka, the prithvi loka, ayam loka, antariksha loka or pitra loka, and swarga loka. So these three worlds are looked upon as the sadhya. This is what one may want to accomplish, and therefore. So then there is a second aspect of the desire for sadhya, desire for the goal or desire for the objective. So sadhana eshanaya tasyaha. In fact, the eshana or the craving or hankering for sadhanam ultimately is for sadhya alone. Tadarthahi jaya putra vitta karma lakshana sadhana eshana. It is only for this loka, such as manusya loka, pitra loka, deva loka, that one wants to perform karma. That for that one wants vitta, for which one wants qualification to be married, and for which one wants son also in order to assure one's existence after one's death also. So that is why one seeks this sadhanam, so that one can attain sadhya. That's the reason why Upanishad only mentions one eshana, namely sadhana eshana. Tasmat sayava eka eshana ya loka eshana. So what you call this sadhana eshana really is none other than the loka eshana. Sayekaya vaishati eshana sadhana apekshadi dvida. So one eshana or one desire, in fact in every desire both the things are built in, sadhanam and sadhya. Desire is always for sadhya, for accomplishing some objective, and we know that the objective can be accomplished only when we adopt an appropriate means, and therefore every desire always has these two aspects, sadhanam and sadhya. So one may desire just wealth, etc., not for this other world, but one may desire just for happiness. So happiness becomes sadhyam, and this other thing that we desire becomes sadhana. Thus every desire has these two aspects, sadhya and sadhana, the goal and the means, the end and the means. So sa ekaya vasati eshana sadhana apekshadi dudha. Even though the eshana is one alone, since the eshana for sadhya has an expectancy for the sadhanam, therefore the eshana for sadhya includes sadhanam, or eshana for sadhanam is always bound with sadhya. So say sadhyatvareva sadhana baddhatvena tat atirekena ayogahat. Since it is sadhya, therefore sadhana atirekena ayogahat. Sadhya cannot be unless the sadhanam is there. So sadhya eshana automatically includes sadhana, and sadhana eshana with sadhya baddhatvat. A sadhanam has to, a cause has to give rise to the effect, or a sadhanam must give rise to sadhya. Therefore, in the sadhanayana, the sadhya is always involved. In the sadhanayana, sadhya is always involved. So they always go together. One always has an expectancy for the other, because you cannot ascertain the means of sadhanam unless you are clear about sadhya. And when you are clear about sadhya, you can determine what the sadhanam is, and they are always just tied together. So, eka eva eshana sati, even though the eshana or the craving is one alone, sadhana apeksha is dvudha. Therefore, sadhaneshana involves sadhyeshana, and sadhyeshana involves sadhaneshana. Atah avadharayishyate uvekhyate eshaneva. So the Upanishad will say subsequently that these are only the two eshanas, sadhana and sadhya. That's the reason why Upanishad says, etavan vai kama. Where the word kama means eshana or hankering, etavan. This much indeed is the scope of any desire, that it includes sadhanam and sadhya. If sadhya is understood to be manusya loka, pitraloka, swarga loka, then sadhanam will be understood to be jaya, putra, vitta and karma. This will be the scope of the desire for sadhanam and scope of the desire for sadhya. And so Upanishad feels that by mentioning the sadhana eshana, that sadhya eshana is automatically mentioned, because bhojana abhide trupti nahi prasat abhideya. When you express a desire for bhojana or food, then you don't have to separately express a desire for satisfaction, because desire for food involves the desire for satisfaction. That is the purpose of food. Tadartatvat bhojanasya. One would eat food for the purpose of satisfaction alone. So now we are on page 326. And so says Bhashyakara, te eteshane sadhya sadhana lakshane kamaha. So what the Upanishad means by the word kama, etavan vai kamaha, what is meant by the word kama is, ete eshane, these two eshanas, sadhya sadhana lakshane. This word kama includes within itself the scope, sadhya and the sadhana eshana. Jena prayuttah vidvan avasareva koshakarat atmanam veshtedi. Jena prayuttah, impelled by which desire, avidvan, the ignorant person, not only ignorant as you said, but aviveki, a non-thinking or non-discriminating person, avasaheva, helplessly, koshakaravat, like a silkworm, atmanam veshtedi. He surrounds himself with all kinds of security crutches. So what a human being does in the course of his life is to surround himself with all kinds of security crutches. A crutch is something you cannot do without, and thus all kinds of security equipment I build around myself. So house, or the compound wall, the insurance policies, or the family, or the son and the grandson, what all that we do basically is to build around ourselves the means for security. Like a silkworm builds around itself that whole shell for its own, so we imagine anyway. So we imagine that this silkworm builds that whole shell made up of the silver thread, the silk threads around itself for the purpose of security. And so also this person builds around himself this whole shell of security consisting of jaya, putra, vitta, karma. And since there is a need for security, therefore naturally one seeks security and one looks upon these as the means of security. So when I look upon myself as an insecure person, I look upon something other than myself as the means of security. So just as I superimpose insecurity upon myself, I superimpose security upon something else, and then I want it. This is how Atmanam Veshtari. He also surrounds himself by all these crutches of security. Karmargeva Atmanam Pranidadat. Pranidadat, footnote number 6, or 9 rather, where are we? Footnote number 6. Pravartayan. So Karmargeva Atmanam Pravartayan. Karmarga means merely prompting oneself or merely placing oneself on the path of karma. And by karma we do not just mean activity. By karma we mean the extrovert activity. So sadhana lakshane kama yad praditva vidvan eva avasaheva koshakaravat atmanam veshtedi karma margeva atmanam pranidat bahirmukhi bhutah nasvam lokam pratijanati. So here when Bhashyakara says karma marge, meaning on the path of karma. By karma is not meant just any karma, but karma that is intent. Karma means desire prompted action. That's what is meant by the word karma here. So assuming that there are karmas which are meant as worship to the Lord, so that is actually nivritti. So often the word pravritti and nivritti are used in the sense, pravritti is something that takes me away from myself, and nivritti is that which brings me to myself. So karma can be both pravritti as well as nivritti. When action is performed as prompted by the desire, then it involves a self-denial. In that case we call it pravritti, an extrovert activity. That very karma when performed without the expectation of result, let us say, or karma when it is performed as an offering to the Lord, worship to the Lord, that very karma becomes a means to bring myself to myself, in as much as it brings about the purification of the heart. Then karma performed as worship to the Lord will not be called bahirmukhi bhavanam. It would be in fact bringing me to myself and the other. It would not be called pravritti in that sense. Also pravritti means activity, and therefore often the word pravritti is used in different sense. But then when Bhashyakara says dvidohi vedoktu dharma, pravritti lakshana nivritti lakshanascha, the twofold is the dharma of the Veda. One of the nature of pravritti, engagement; other the nature of nivritti, disengagement. So engagement and disengagement both can be karma. Engagement is engaging more and more into something other than myself, and disengagement also requires karma. I am already engaged, I am already entangled, so disentangling myself also requires karma. So even disengagement also involves karma, except that there is karma that is not prompted by desire, but karma prompted by the spirit of worship to the Lord. This is what we call karma yoga. So really, even though karma yoga involves karma, it is not so much a path of pravritti as it is a path of nivritti. And so, when Lord Krishna says, Lokesmin vividhanishta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankshyanam karma yogena yoginam, that for the yogis there is a path of karma, is not so much the path of pravritti really, as much as that is also path of nivritti, except it is what we call bahiranga sadhanam. It is external sadhana, and jnana would be called antaranga sadhanam. So really sadhanam for the knowledge of self is twofold, bahiranga and antaranga, and that is not what is meant here by karma. So karma margeva atmanam pranidadat, karma marga is in the path of engagement, path of involvement. So bahirmukhi bhutah, bahirmukhi bhutah meaning who is extrovert. That means looking away from oneself. For the fulfillment in one's life, when one looks away from oneself, that is what we call extrovertedness. So again the words in English, extroverted and introverted, are used in different sense. But here this extrovert meaning looking at something other than oneself for the satisfaction in life. An introvert would be a person who looks at one's own self for the satisfaction of life. So again that is the Shreyo Marga and Preyo Marga. So Preyo Marga would be the marga of extrovertedness, Shreyo Marga is marga of introvertedness. The Shreyo Marga also would involve activity in terms of worship and whatever, but here Bahirmukhi Bhutah. Say footnote number 7, Anatma Pravanaha. Not Atma Pravanaha, not one who is focused on Atma, but Anatma Pravanaha, one who is focused upon Anatma. Nasvam lokam pratijanati. As we said yesterday, Suryanamate lokaha andhena tamasavrataha tamste pratyavigachanti ye kecha atmahano janaha. So Ishavasya Upanishad describes these people as Atmahana Jana, the people who hurt themselves because of the denial of one's own self. And so, Nasvam Lokam Pratijanati. Naturally, one whose mind is focused away from oneself can never know one's own self. And that is how this person actually is compared to a Poshakara, compared to silkworm. That's what Anandagiri said. Veshtanam eva spashtari karma marga eva. So how this Eshanas, Eshanayoho Veshtanam, how this twofold Eshana actually becomes a Veshti. You know, this dhoti is called Veshti, you know. So, because it's surround, you know, you are surrounded by that. So that is what they call Veshti. And something that's Veshtanam, that by which you surround yourself or cover yourself. Here anyway, these very Eshanas become the Veshti. So by the Eshanas you surround yourself. As you said, the intention is to gain protection. But what turns out ultimately is nothing but one's own damage. So the example may not be 100% applicable. That poor silkworm may not be doing it for that purpose. We project upon the silkworm this idea that silkworm does it for its own protection. So it must be building a shell for itself. But it doesn't want to get out of it. And it is capable of getting out of it also, except you don't let him get out, that's all. But generally speaking, the human being is always compared to this koshakar or the silkworm, as to how the silkworm builds a shell of protection around itself, and how that very shell becomes the cause of its destruction. And so the human being protects around himself a shell of protection of jaya, putra, vitta, karma and whatever, and how those very same things become the cause of his bondage. That's the idea here. Tathāca Taitiriyake. So Bhashyakara here quotes from Taitiriya Aranyaka. Agni-mugdo haiva bhumatāntah sumlokam na pratiyānāti. Agni-mugda, Anandagiri explains that Agni-mugda. Mugda means totally fascinated. Mugda means deluded, or Mugda also means fascinated. So fascinated by Agni. Agni-mugda. Agni-reva Homadi-dvarana mama shreyas sadhanam Nātma-vijñāna abhimanava Agni-mugda. Agni here is the means for performance of various rituals. So Agni-reva Homadi-dvarana. This fire, by way of performance of home, etc., so mama shreyas sadhanam, Agni is my shreyas sadhanam. So he looks upon fire as a means of his fulfillment in life, because then fire is so dear to him. So fire is a means by which through which he can perform various rituals and can attain the desired end, and therefore fire being the means of performance of the rituals is very dear to him. So Agni Mugda, fascinated by fire. So Homadi-dvarana Moshrey Sadhanam Na Atma-jnanam. It is not the self-knowledge but the karma is Moshrey Sadhanam, and his karma is a Shreya Sadhanam. So the fire which is required for performance of karma also becomes Shreya Sadhanam. Is Abhimanavan. So Agni-mugda haeva dhūmatāntah. Dhūmata antah. Dhūmata is the state of being smoke. Both ways, dhūmatantah, dhūme jnānavapannah. So since when you perform the rituals, a lot of smoke is generated, and that creates a lot of glani. So smoke naturally burns your eyes and creates a lot of discomfort. So karma also creates a lot of exertion. Any karma that you perform creates a lot of exertion. And on the top of that, the very karma also becomes only a self-denial. Then the exertion is further confounded. So dhūmena jnānavapannah. Dhūmatavāmam ante dehāvasāne bhavati iti manyamānah. This dhūmatavāmam ante dehāvasāne bhavati iti. Mama dehāvasāne, when my body drops off. Ante then dhūmata bhavati. So dhūmatantah. So look forward to dhūmata. Dhūmata means what? The smoke. The path of smoke also you can say. There are two paths, the path of smoke and the path of life. So generally the person performing karma with a desire to attain the happiness or the pleasures, travels along the path of smoke and winds up with what we call the Pitraloka or Chandraloka and then comes back. So what is it? Dhuma and then Dhumo Ratri Tatha Krishna Shanmasa Dakshinayam Tatra Chandramasam Yogi Yogi Prapya Nivardave. Path of Dhuma, all the path of darkness. So it is path of ignorance basically. So even the path of performance of karma without desire or as a worship to the Lord is the path of light. And path of performance of karma as prompted by desire becomes the path of darkness. Because desire is a product of ignorance and therefore it is the path of darkness. Therefore it is called the Dhuma, the path of smoke. Anyway, so Dhumadanta is not that he does not get the result of his actions. He does get the pleasures that he has desired as a for performance of actions. So he does get them by way of having the stay or by way of living in Chandraloka or Pitraloka or whatever that loka is, and dwelling there for a length of time, he does enjoy the pleasures of the senses. And still, he comes back to the same cycle, Shine Punye, Martilokam Vishandi, coming back to this Martiloka, again exerting himself to gain those pleasures, enjoying them, again coming back. So this is the Dhumarga. So Dhumatantaha, Swam Lokam Na Padiyanavi. इति मन्यमानः ते ध्रुवम् अभिसंभवन्ति इति श्रुतेः. So this is again Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. They dhumam abhisambhavanti. They ultimately attain the path of dhuma or the path of smoke. Swam lokam na pradyanadi. Atmana na pradyanadi. He does not know his own self. Okay, now going to page 327. Vakyantaram utthapya vyachaste. So Vakyantaram Naichamschana Bhuyaha Vinde. So Ato Bhuyaha Vinde. Even if one desires, one cannot attain great more than this. So that's what Upanishad says. Etavan vai kamaha Nischamchana Ato Bhuyaha Vinde. So this much indeed is the scope of the desire and the desirable objects, and even if one wants, one cannot attain more than that. So that is a Vakya that now Bhashyakara wants to explain. Vakyantaram utthapya vyachishte. Katham ityadina. So says Bhashyakara, Karam katham punah इत्येतदाशंक्य हेतुमः यस्मात् निश्चिंचन इच्छन्नवे अतः अस्मात् फल साधन लक्षणा भूयः अधिकतरं न विन्देत न लभेत. कथम पुनः एतम अवधार्यते. So etavan vai kamah, you say that this much indeed is the scope of kama, this indeed is the scope of desire. So katham punah etat avadharyate. So or etavatvam avadharyate. How can Upanishad say that this much indeed is kama? That it is jaya, putra, vitta and karma and the loka, that these are the desires. How can you say that this indeed is the scope of desires? Kamana manantatvat. In fact, desires are endless. So desires are endless or countless endeavor. How can you say that this much alone is the scope of desire? Anantai kamaha iti. Because the Shruti says that the desires are anantaha, they are countless. It is an ashankya. Etavatva dharane, that kamana, so etavan vai kamaha, or etavan eva kamaha. So this kind of an emphasis or ascertainment that this much indeed is the scope of a desire, this is Shankyade, this is what is questioned here. Etavat ashankya hetumaha. So, in case this kind of a question can arise as to how can you say that the scope of desire is only this much, when it is well known that the desires are endless. So, expecting that such a question may arise, Upanishad itself says, aha, yasmat, because, na icchanchana. So even if one desires, that chana is in sense of api, na icchannapi, even if one desires, asmat, ataha means asmat, phala sadhana lakshanat, ataha bhuyaha na vinded, this is the idea. Nechamschana, ataha bhuyo vinded. Even if one desires, one cannot attain more than this. This means what? Sadhana, phala sadhana lakshanat. In the world there is nothing more than phala and sadhanam, that's all. And so this is what the whole world consists of, is cause and effect. So cause is sadhanam or karma, and effect is phala, that's all. So that is what the whole sadhya sadhana lakshana hai. The samsara is of the nature of sadhya and sadhana. There is nothing beyond that in this creation. What is sadhanam, what is sadhya would vary with different people. What I may look upon as sadhya, someone may not look upon as sadhya, and what I look upon as sadhanam may not be looked upon as sadhanam by someone else. And so what that sadhanam and sadhya is, everyone will have different views about that. At different times the same person may have different views. However, the fact remains that the scope of the desire, the object that I can desire can either be classified as sadhanam or sadhya. There is no third category in this creation. In that sense it is said, phala sadhana lakshanat bhuyaha adhikataram navinde. One cannot attain more than this even if one desires. This means beyond phala and sadhanam, the result and the cause karma. Nalabheta. Tasmat etavattam avadharya tesham visheshaha. That's the reason why. So since yasmat is there, so tasmat must come. So Anandagiri says, tasmat etavattam avadharya tesham. That's the reason why these desires are said to be this much alone. There is footnote number 2 here. Yasmaditi yataha asmat phala sadhana lakshanat adhikataram icchannavi na asmat anyat ajnaha labhade sadhanadi atirikta drishtavistalab abhavat atah yuktam avadharan ityartha. Nicely explains here. Yataha, since asmat phala sadhana lakshanat adhikataram icchannavi, since asmat from this phala sadhana lakshanat, from an object that can be classified as phala and sadhanam, the end and the means, adhikataram icchannavi na asmat anyat ajnaha labhade. Even if one wants, an ignorant person wants anything more than this, he cannot get. There is something more than this. There is something that is beyond the phala and sadhanam. What is it? That is Atma. So Atma is there, it is beyond the cause and effect, beyond phala and sadhanam. But that he can never get. That is the idea here. Icchannavi, as long as his mind is directed extrovert, as long as he performs actions to fulfill various desires, and as long as he is seeking satisfaction in life through the objects of desire, so long, even if he wants to cross this, and everybody really wants to transcend or cross this chain of cause and effect, nobody wants it. So everybody wants limitless, which is Atma, and limitless can only be that which is beyond cause and effect, because limitless cannot be the effect of something, limitless cannot be something that is acquired, and therefore limitless is that which is beyond the cause and effect. That is what the person wants. The tragedy of life is that is what person wants, even through the fulfillment of the limited desires. What one is seeking in life is limitless. But where is that limitless? That limitless happens to be my own self. And therefore, as long as I am looking at something other than myself, for the attainment of limitless, it is at the denial of the limitless itself. So very seeking of the limitless is at the denial of the limitless. You cannot seek the limitless unless we deny it first. Just because limitless is the nature of my own self, and as Swami is limitless is that which has to be there now. If limitless is something that is produced or created as a result of an action, then whatever is created is going to be perishable and therefore it cannot be limitless. So limitless has to be now. And here also, if the limitless is separated from me in place or time, then that limitless also is limited in as much as it does not include me. So limitless must necessarily include me, and limitless must necessarily be now. Both. It should include me, not apart from me. It must be obtaining now. That means whatever obtains now is limitless, and therefore the self that obtains right now is limitless. And therefore through the fulfillment of desire for every limited object, what one is seeking in the life is really the limitless. Icchannapi, even though he wants, na vindet, na labheta, he cannot attain. He cannot attain what he wants because he just does not adopt the right means of attainment. That's the reason why one must be clear as to what one is seeking in life. And the sadhanam or the means will be determined by the end, sadhya. Since the sadhya is not clear to this person, so regardless of what all sadhanam he does, antavattu phalam tesham tad bhatyalvamedasan devan devayanti madbhaktaha yanti mamapi. Antavattu phalam tesham tad alpamedasam tad antat phalam bhavati, says Lord Krishna also says that of this non-discriminating, non-thinking or ignorant person. By ignorant we mean aviveki. For this person, antavattu phalam tesham tad bhatyalpamedasam, that after all the exertion that he undergoes, the phala that he attains as a result of all that exertion is antavat, is only limited. Devan devayanti, the worshippers of the devatas attain the devatas. Mad bhaktaha yanti mamapi, my devotees attain me. So Lord Krishna says, if they are devoted to me, the limitless, that's what they attain. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tatheva bhajamyaham. Because I favor or bless the people in the manner in which they worship me or they seek me. Anyway, continuing with the footnote, yatah asmat phalasadana lakshanat adhikaranamicchannavi nasmat anyat agniha labhade. The ignorant person does not get anything different from this even if he desires. Sadhanadi apikta drushta drushtarabha abhava, because there is no labha or gain other than drushta and adrushta. The gain can be of two kinds: drushta, that which is perceptible or immediately experienceable, and adrushta, that which is not presently perceptible, that which comes in future. So drushta and adrushta, in this world and the world hereafter, or in present and in future, or which is evident and not evident, gross and subtle, all of these can be called drushta and adrushta. And sadhana and sadhya includes both the drushta and adrushta, or they are included. Other than that, there is no labha. Ataha yuktam avadhana nityartha. Therefore, it is quite proper that Upanishad says, etavan vai kamaha, etavan eva kamaha. So vai evakara is yuktam. It is quite proper that this avadharanam or emphasis is used by the Upanishad. The footnote continues, yasmat sadhanadi anya kamaitavya bhavaha tasmat avidyavasthayam tat sampatti matrena ajnasya purnavaya vibhavaha. See how much thinking these teachers have done in all these simple sentences. What all the Upanishad wants to say, to find all Vedanta in every sentence, is what the teachers have done. This Sureshwaracharya and others have really, so in this such a simple sentence. So nechanschana ato bhuyaha vindate. Even if one wants, one cannot attain more than this. So says yasmat sadhanadi anya kamaitavya bhavaha. As long as a person desires, he cannot desire more than sadhana and sadhya, because that the object of desire can be no more than sadhana and sadhya. Inasmuch as Atma is something that is already attained and therefore it cannot become the object of desire in that sense, So when we say I desire something, automatically we imagine that something to be that which is not attained as yet. So whatever is unattained can be included within sadhana and sadhya. So labha, attainment, can only be of that which is unattained. And what is unattained can be covered by sadhana and sadhya. There is nothing that is unattained that cannot be included within sadhana and sadhya, and that's it. So yasmat sadhanadi anya kamaitavya abhavaha. Since there is abhavaha, or absence of kamaitavya, absence of that which can be desired, there is nothing beyond sadhana and sadhya which can be desired or which can fall in the category of being desired. Tasmat avidyavasthayam tatsambati matrena asya agnyasya purnata. Therefore, avidyavasthayam, as long as person is ignorant, by that we mean as long as the person is non-discriminating. Tat sampatti matrena. Tat sampatti is what? Sadhana, sadhya sampatti matrena. Merely by sampatti meaning attainment. So attainment of sadhana and sadhya, asya agnyasya purnata. This poor ignorant person is seeking fulfillment through the attainment of sadhana and sadhya. That's what it means. And his satisfaction is only up to that extent. So this is the extent of satisfaction that he can gain. It is not that karma and karma phala will not give him satisfaction, they will. In fact, the karma kanda section of the Vedas enjoins variety of rituals so that one can gain satisfaction. And so by performance of the rituals of karma, or any karma in one's life, when it is done properly and honestly, if it is shubha karma, it must necessarily give rise to punya and must necessarily give rise to happiness at the level of senses. And ashubha karma must give rise to papa and give rise to dukkha. So if one conscientiously performs shubha karma, definitely he will gain the happiness in terms of the conducive objects. So not that he does not gain, but he has to discover satisfaction within that, that's all. His satisfaction is going to be confined to the satisfaction that comes out of the objects or experiences of senses, and no more than that. Even if he desires, he cannot gain more than that. Taduttam, that's what the Vastikakara says. Tasmad avidya bhumishta Krishna etavata bhavaditi. Tasmad, therefore, avidya bhumishta, one who is established in the bhumi of avidya. Avidya bhumishta, so bhumo tishtati. Avidya bhumo tishtati, or avidya bhumo sthitaha. The person who is in the realm of ignorance, avidya bhumishta, Krishna etavata bhaved, and therefore he may find completeness by this much alone of sadhana and sadhya. And maybe he may. See, one does not know anything better than one may think this is it, this is life. And one may feel that this is real the fulfillment in life if one doesn't have perception of anything beyond that. So many people will satisfy in their life. Not many, but some people do find. So, well, I think I'm quite happy with my life. I'm satisfied. Somebody says, I have no problem. And so that is a problem of discrimination really. Not that one should become sad and dissatisfied in that sense, but to find satisfaction out of something that is limited also is a problem. So the problem is twofold. To be all the time dissatisfied with me also is a problem. At the same time to find satisfaction in something limited also is a problem. Because I do not deserve to be dissatisfied with, and something else does not deserve to be satisfied with. That being the case, if I am satisfied with something forever, that is also a problem. That perhaps shows only complacency in life, that one wants to feel that everything is fine, there is nothing wrong with me, and I am all accomplished, I need not do anything. That may be complacency, and so people feel, Swami, I am studying this, and I am doing this research work, and I am very happy. Somebody is doing scientific research, somebody is doing literary research, and they are all absorbed in their work, and they are all fine, they are happy also. But it is a make-believe thing that this is the ultimate goal of life, and that I am happy because of this, or that this is the extent of happiness. So they do get the extent of happiness, but not beyond that.
Alright, so going back to the Bhashya. Yasmat Nechamschana. So Chana is interpreted as Api Asmat Phalasadhana Lakshanat Bhuyaha Avikadaram Navindet. Since one cannot attain anything greater than this Phalasadhana Lakshanat of the objects or the desires beyond Phala and Sadhana, Nalabheda Tasmat Itavattam Odharit. Okay, that we already so. Tesham Visheshaha. Sirani Uktamevartham Lokadrushtum Ostabhyas Pastayati. Uktamevartham, the artha that was said, Lokadrushtim Ostabhya. Even accepting for a moment Lokadrushtim, meaning we experience in our day-to-day life, Spashtayati, that very thing is clarified by Bhashyakara. Nihiti, says Bhashya, Nihi loke Phalasadhana Vyatirikta Yuktam Vaktum Etavan Ve Kama Iti. Nihi loke Phalasadhana Vyatiriktam Drushtam Adrushtam Va Labdhavim Asti. It is our experience that loka in the world, there is nothing labdhavyam, nothing that can be attained. Drushtam adrushtam va, that can be classified as drushtam. Drushtam means immediate. So when you eat food, then the satisfaction is something that happens immediate. That is called drushtam. Whereas when I perform a ritual, the result comes in future time and place, that is called adrushtam. So certain actions create immediate satisfaction. Certain other actions create satisfaction in future. So drushtam adrushtam. So other than so, drushtam adrushtam va labdhavyam phala sadhana vyatiriktam. In this world, other than phala and sadhanam, other than cause and effect, other than karma and the karma phala, there is nothing that there is nothing beyond these two, either dushta or adrushta. Na labdhavyam asti, nothing that can be attained, which can be classified as dushta or adrushta, beyond phala and sadhana. Says Anandagiri, labdhavyantara bhavopi kamaitavyantaram syad. Alright, there is a labdhavyam and there is a kamaitavyam. Labdhavyam, that which is to be attained. Kamaitavyam, that which is desired. So says, alright, in this world, beyond sadhana and sadhya or phala and karma, there is nothing more to be attained. But you can always desire something more. Says, labdhavyantara bhavepi, even though there may be abhava of labdhavyantara, that is, there may be nothing that can be accomplished or attained beyond the sadhana and phala. Kamaitavyantaram syad, maybe there could be something that you can desire, something else that you can desire. Ita ashankyaha Bhashyakara said, Labdhavya vishayahi kamaha. The desire can only pertain to something that can be accomplished. One cannot have desire for something that cannot be accomplished, and therefore desire always pertains to something that I consider as accomplishable, something that is available for accomplishment, that alone can become the object of desire. I cannot desire to bring fire because I know it cannot be accomplished. I cannot desire to stand in the air. I cannot accomplish that. So, desire is always limited by my knowledge and knowledge of what can be accomplished. It is true that as the frontiers of knowledge expand, so also our knowledge of what can be accomplished also expands. As a result, what we desire today may be much more than what this person desired 500 years ago. Because today I may even desire to go to moon, and such an idea will never come at that time. So it is true that as the knowledge of labdhavya, knowledge of what can be accomplished, as that knowledge increases, the desire also increases, no doubt about that. But in any case, the desire always pertains to something that I consider as accomplishable and not beyond that. No one can desire something that is not possible to be accomplished. And therefore, labdhavya vishayahi kamaha. So kama always has its vishaya, Kama always is centered upon labdhavya, that which can be attained or accomplished. Tasya cha etad vyatirekena abhavat. Etad vyatirekena sadhya sadhana atirekena. And what we call labdhavya also is not beyond sadhya and sadhanam. Yuktam vaktum etat. Uktam vaktum etavan vekamah. Therefore, it is quite proper that Upanishad says, etavan vekamah. This much indeed is the scope of kama, or the desire, including sadhana and sadhya. Then says Anandali, tayoho dvayoho api kamatva vidhayishrutehe abhiprayamaha. Tayoho dvayoho api. So dvayoho is what? Sadhya, sadhanayoho, that is sadhana and sadhya, both of them are included by kama. So kamatva vidhayishrutehe, kamatva vidhayishrutehe means that is the kamatva bodhi shrutehe. So when the Shruti says that the sadhya and sadhana, both of them are kama, abhiprayamaha. What does the Shruti mean? The avidya prakranam. But why does Shruti even discuss avidya? What's the meaning of discussing avidya? We don't want that. So Bhashyakara says, what is the purport of this Shruti? Says Bhashya, etaduktam iti. Etaduktam bhavati drashtartham adrashtartham va sadhya sadhana lakshanam avidyavat purushadhikara vishayam eshna dvayam kamah atah asmad vidusha vyuttatavyamide. Etaduktam bhavati. Bhashyakara has to take time to explain the intention of Shruti. But all the discussion also has a certain purpose. Etaduktam bhavati. So Shruti abhiprayam. What is the abhipraya of Shruti? It says drushtam, drushtartham, adrushtartham va. Footnote number 3. Drushtartham, drushtartha rupam, adrushtartha phalakam. Alright, drushtartham, adrushtartham va. So drushtartham, that which can give rise to drushtaphala, adrushtartham, that can give rise to adrushtaphala, or drushtartham, drushtartha rupam, that which is perceptible like karma, but that which gives rise to karma phala, which is adrushta. So drushtartham, adrushtartham can be understood as drushtartham, that which is visible, experienceable, namely karma. Adrushtartham, that which cannot be experienced, namely karma phala. So karma and karma phalam va. Sadhya sadhana lakshanam. Each one can be drushta and adrushta. Sadhya and sadhana both can be drushta and adrushta. So sadhanam can be drushta like karma, and karma phala is adrushta, or sometimes karma phala also is drushta. So sadhya sadhana lakshanam avidyavat purusha adhikara vishayam. So all these, whatever is perceptible and whatever is not perceptible, that includes the entire creation. Whatever is experienced right now and whatever is not experienced right now, but what can be experienced. So what can be experienced or what is experienceable? That is drustam, adrustam. Drustam, what is perceived by me. Adrustam, what is not perceived but which can become perceivable. So swarga is adrushta. Right now swarga I cannot perceive. But someday when I go to swarga, that also will become the object of perception, and that also will be in the category of drustam. So today I perform the ritual and the result comes in future. But when the result will come, it will become drishta. And therefore, this is the scope. The drishta and adrushta includes the entire creation. Anatma loka is included. Sadhya sadhana lakshanam, of the nature of sadhya and sadhanam. Avidyavat purushadhikara vishayam. See footnote number 4. Avidyavat purusha adhikara vishayam. Avidyavat purusha vrittihi adhikaram adhikaraha eshana swamitvam. So avidyavat purusha means what? An ignorant person. Adhikara is what? So vrittihi, where this fellow is activity. Eshana swamitvam. So ultimately it is ignorant person who possesses the eshana or has the hankerings. तद विषय है अधिकरणम यस्य ऐषणाद्वयस्य तथा. So Vishaya means Adhikaram. It is ignorant person really upon whom all these Aishanas are centered. So this Aishanadvaya, these twofold Aishanas of Sadhana and Sadhya are always centered upon the ignorant person. तथा एतादृश अधिकार अधिकरण अधिकरणकम इत्यर्थः. अधिकार is the pravritti. Adhikaranam is the center, the ignorant person. Adhikaranakam, that is all this, that is adhikaran eshanadvayam. So, avidyavat purushanishtham idyavad. The idea is that eshanadvayam is what? Etadusha adhikara adhikarana adhikaranakam eshanadvayam. Eshanadvayam has the adhikarana or the focus or the locus. Upon what? Adhikaranam, which is what? The ignorant person, who has the adhikara, who has the activity with reference to all these Aishanas. So, avidyavat purushanishtham idyavat. Idea is avidyavat purushanishtham Aishanadvayam. These two Aishanas of Sadhya and Sadhana, they are always or invariably focused or located in the ignorant person. Aishanadvayam kamaha, and that is included in the word kama. That footnote number says, Kamaha akhila krodhadi anartha hetuhu. Then he continues that thinking further. Because that should be next footnote actually. Because Anandagiri says, Kamasya anarthatvat. Sadhya sadhanayoscha tavanmatratvat. Sargado pumarthata avishwasam chatva. Swapnalavatulyaabhyah तिसृभ्यः अपि एषणाभ्यः व्युत्थानं संन्यासात्मकं कृत्वा कांक्षितमोक्षहेतुं ज्ञानमुद्दिश्य श्रवणादि आवर्तयेत् इत्यर्थः. कामस्य अनर्थत्वात्. Kama always brings about anartha. Anartha means calamity. Say that footnote, Kamaha akhila krodhadi anartha hetuhu. That Kama is a hetu or the cause for all krodha and everything else. Because the Shrad Ripavaha, the sixfold inner enemies are Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya. So all of them are nothing but the different aspects or different manifestations of Kama. Kama is hankering or craving. And when that craving is thwarted, it is threatened or it is obstructed, the very Kama results into Krodha. And suppose that craving is satisfied, does it get, does it cease to exist? No. That very craving gets converted into lobha because the craving actually becomes more pronounced. So kama, when not satisfied, becomes krodha, and kama, when satisfied, becomes lobha. And when krodha and lobha, any one of these vrittis comes to me, then moha, I become deluded, meaning I just become, my thinking becomes totally influenced by anger or by greed, and I cannot see the reality. So an angry person also is not in the real world, and a greedy person also is not in the real world, because both of them create intoxication in him. And any action that I perform of anger is never going to be action of what we call vivek or discrimination. All the action that I perform of lobha also will not be such. The decisions made out of greed are always going to be, are going to be damaging to me. And actions made out of anger are also going to be damaging. Actions taken out of vivek or discrimination can be right or wrong, but they can help. But actions done out of lobha, because what happens is, suppose I do a right thing out of greed. It is possible that out of greed also I can do right things. I can make right investment, I can do right things. But that will only intensify the greed, and therefore I will further do that. Suppose I am successful, that will further intensify greed, and that is the whole idea of this gambling. These gambling houses in the United States and everywhere in the world, they make money because only of the greed of the person. When you go to these casinos and places like that, generally speaking it happens that when you first play with those machines, the roulettes or whatever they are, generally in the beginning a person always wins. And you find the person keeps on playing for the whole night. Generally speaking, in the morning they come up with a loss of several $1,000s. There is a place called Atlantic City in New Jersey, which also is a free place where the casinos are, where gambling is allowed. And you get news sometimes that a fellow lost $40 million, not one or two. How many? $40 million he lost in 3 nights. I can't imagine. Because how much money he must have to lose, that is a different thing. But a person lost $14 million just in gambling in 2 or 3 nights. So these people are always welcome there. You know, there is always red carpet treatment of everybody when they go to these casinos. In fact, from New Jersey and many places, to go to Atlantic City where these casinos are, there are many concessions. You can get a bus ticket, a round-trip bus ticket, in practically free. You can get bus ticket, and that's the reason why one of our students lives in the Atlantic City, and she would take advantage of this very well. So all you have to do is to buy the bus ticket from Sailasburg, where we are, round-trip. They will give you $19, that's all. Actually, one-way ticket will be like $35. If you regularly travel, you have to pay no less than $75 for round trip. But it's $19 round trip. And then also they give a coupon. That coupon is worth $10, you know. And of course, you have to go and you can encash that coupon in one of these casinos, by a particular casino. They will give you $10. Naturally, what will a person use $10 for? To play. But you can always bring it back. That's a different matter. Indians will do all these things, you know. So they calculate everything. And so $10 they give, and then again some $5 they give for it. Something. Ultimately, she told me that this is a free trip, and you make a few dollars, a couple of bucks. But anyway, all these concessions are given to them, so that's for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You have to see that place. This is swarming with people gambling. All kinds of coupons are given. All kinds of concessions are given. There are special trains which they call Gamblers Express, you know. You know that generally those trains, you know, who are the travelers? The gamblers. But why are they called? Because this whole thing is based on greed, really. It's amazing how people know the psychology. You know, the marketing people are the smartest people in the world. They know the psychology of the common person so well. And they learn, of course, you know, they keep on learning. But here, the whole gambling is based on the greed. And ultimately you will be the loser. Gujarati man, they say, Haro Jugari, Bambo Rame. And as this gambler loses, he plays in with more intensity. So greed also, in short, the idea is that the greed also makes you deluded. You are not in the real world. When anger comes, you lose this reality. And when greed comes also, you are blind to the reality. That's called moha. Moha means aviveka. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha. And then comes Mada. When you are deluded, you are in a different world. And then whatever it is, Mada. There's going to be tremendous pride. So Lobha will bring about pride. And that Krodha will bring about Matsarya. What happens is, when you are not a successful person, Matsarya, jealousy. A successful person, then pride or arrogance. That's what happens. All of these are actually originated from Kama. The source of all of this is Kama. That's the reason why scriptures always focus their attention on Kama, Kama, Kama. Prajahadi yada kaman, sarvan partha manogatam. When one has become free from all the Kama, definitely one will become free from all the other modifications of Kama, because this Krodha, Lobha, etc., nothing but Kama in different costumes. Kama becomes modified into all these other ripus. So the footnote number says, that Kamaha akhila krodhadi anartha hetuhu. Kama alone is the anartha hetu, the cause of all the suffering in life. Ataha anartha hetutvat. And therefore, since Kama is the cause of anartha, so Anandagiri said, Kamasya anarthatvat sadhya sadhanayoscha tavanmatratvat sadhya sadhanayoho eshanayoscha tavanmatratvat. Kamasya anarthatvat, since Kama alone is the cause of all the anartha, all the suffering in life, sadhya sadhanayoscha tavanmatratvat, and what we call that sadhya and sadhana alone is Kama. Sargado, I don't know what is meant by Sargado, perhaps Swargado, I think, you know. So Swargado pumarthada vishwasam tektva. That's the reason why one should give us pumarthada vishwasam. This is pumartha means purushartha. The swarga etc., swarga or pitraloka or manushaloka, whatever they are, that they are purushartha, meaning that is the end that I am seeking. What is purushartha? Pumarthata is the same as purusharthata. Purushehi arthadedi purushartha. So that which is sought by people is called purushartha. So usually a person is seeking swarga or pitraloka or manushaloka, whatever, because I look upon them as the purushartha, as a goal of my life which will give me fulfillment. Pumarthada vishwasam tektva, giving up the vishwasam. So far I have vishwasa of faith that these are really what I am seeking, but here the purport of the Upanishad is so that when a person understands, then he will actually give the vishwasa or the faith in the ability of this swarga etc. to give me a lasting happiness. Tektva swapnalavatulyaabhyah tisrubhyopeshanaabhyah vittanam krutva. So what should one do? Eshanabhyah vittanam krutva. Tisrubhyopeshanabhyah, from all the three eshanas. Lokaputra vittaishanabhyah. Actually eshanas are now twofold eshanas, sadhya and sadhana. But the sadhana eshana and sadhya eshana can be further also divided as threefold: putra, vitta and loka. But putra and vitta are sadhanam and loka becomes sadhya. So anyway, generally speaking, eshana traya is very famous. Putra eshana, vitta eshana, loka eshana. Says here, tisrubhyopi eshanabhyah vittanam krutva. And what's the nature of the eshanas? Swapnalavatulyaabhyah. Swapnalava, like a game that you have in dream. It seems to be there, but not really there. Similarly also, when a desire is fulfilled, the happiness seems to come, but it is not really coming. Because even when I experience happiness as a result of fulfillment of a desire, the happiness that comes does not come from that object of desire. It only a desirable object or desired object rather. It comes from my very self, and the desired object becomes merely nimitta, becomes an occasion to bring to manifestation the happiness which is my own self. That's all. So it says swapnalava tulyabhyah tisrubhyah api eshanabhyah. All these three eshanas are comparable to some kind of a lava that is gained in swapna. Vitthanam, one should vitthanam, go out of this. This is called growing. Vitthanam krutva, grow out of these desires by recognizing their nature. There is nothing wrong in desire. There is nothing wrong in anything in the life. We should understand what is the role that everything has to play in our life. So desire, we don't say that just give up the desire, because nobody can give up desires. The only way one can see what is the nature of desire, what does desire or desirable objects do to me, that at least one can definitely analyze. And that is what we call viveka or discrimination. And realize what is the desire, what is it that I desire in and through all the desires. So when I analyze my desires, I will realize that what I am desiring in and through all the desires is really Atmalokaha. What I am desiring is really the limitless. So even though individual desire is the desire for something limited, what I really desire is the limitless. So recognizing that the desire behind all the desires is the desire for the limitless. Or as Swami nicely says, the desire behind all the desires is to become free from desire. Nobody wants to really perpetuate the desire because everybody knows that desire is a burden. So when there is a bug of desire in my mind, I can never be at ease, I can never be comfortable. The very appearance of desire in my mind is like a bug entering my ear. And just as I can never be comfortable or at ease with a bug crawling in my ear and making some funny sounds, and so I can never be at ease when there is a desire in my mind. And that is why I just want to become free from the discomfort that the desire creates. And that's the reason why I want to get rid of that desire, and so I fulfill that desire. So either we can say that fulfillment of a desire is for getting the desired end, or fulfillment of the desire is to become free from the desire. Either we can look at it. Why do I fulfill desire? so that I can get what I want, or you can say, why do I fulfill desire? So that I can become free from desire. And I know that I can become free from desire only when I get that. My mind is bugging me, nagging me. The mind is like a nagging child. And once it desires, and once you allow that desire to, to give some reality to that, the desire will become more and more intense. Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsa Sangasteshu Bhajayate Sangas Sanjayate Kamaha. So first it is just a fancy. And you keep on thinking about it again and again, that fancy gathers a momentum and becomes a liking. And you continue the idea to build up, that very liking becomes a craving. The craving or a hankering is not something that arises right away. It is a result of a certain kind of a thinking pattern process. But once that craving arises, there is no way that I have the freedom, I have lost my freedom. I am going to be dictated by the craving. It is that craving that will dictate me to do what I have to do. I can't accept that dictation. Therefore, I want to become free from that craving. And therefore, when I experience happiness, when I get some desirable object, you can say that the happiness has occurred because I got what I wanted, or you can say that happiness has occurred because I have become free from desire. So when there is this burden of desire, when I am under this burden, and I'm totally I'm ill at ease, I cannot be happy when the desire is resolved. Either you can resolve it by satisfying the desire, or you can resolve it by seeing its falsehood. Swapna Lavatulyabhya, that every desire does bring about a certain end, but every end is limited, and therefore, even though the desire is satisfied, the desirer is not satisfied. The desire comes to an end, but the desirer always is perpetuated. If I see this fact, I will realize that it is just futile to keep on fulfilling these desires. If I understand that, you cannot give up desire unless this kind of a mature understanding has come. So Vedanta does not say give up the desire. Vedanta says understand the nature of desire. Understand what you are desiring. Understand your own self. Understand your own urge. So there is an inner urge within your own self, and understand what is it that you are seeking. You realize that what you are seeking is limitless. Nothing in the world and nothing can ever satisfy you. No gain can ever satisfy me, because every gain will only make me aware of what I do not have. And thus, when I gain something, I always want more. And thus, that desire keeps on growing in intensity, like the fire which grows in intensity when you pour butter in there. And as we understand it from our own experience, Tasrubhyodhyeshanabhya Vutthanam Krutva, so Vashtaya Sanyasatmakam Vutthanam Krutva, Sannyasa will automatically happen. Because with the Eshanas, when you see the futility of the Eshanas, or rather it is not that the desire goes away, it is that the desire gets transformed. The desire will always be there, desire doesn't go away. But when I understand the nature of desire, then desire gets transformed. All the desires for limited objects get transformed into the desire for the self. This is what we call Viveka. Viveka is not merely seeing the futility of a desire, but then seeing that the desire behind all the desires is the desire for the self, seeing that fact. Those desires get transformed, not get given up. So it is not fair to say give up the desires. Nobody can give up desires. All we can say is understand the desires and see that all these desires are transformed into the desire for self. That's the reason why the sadhana chatushta sampatti is viveka, vairagya, shamadhi sampatti, mumukshutvam. And what is mumukshutvam? Mokshome bhuyadu ichha. May have the moksha, that kind of an intense desire is called mumukshutvam. So somebody questions his qualification. How can you say that desire is a qualification? See, desire is not something that you can will. Desire is something that has to occur. And therefore, qualification is that which you can cultivate by your own will. So this viveka, etc., you can cultivate by will. Shamadhi, Siddha, Sampatti, you can cultivate by will. Desire you cannot cultivate by will. Desire is something that has to happen. So how can Shastra say that mumukshutvam or moksha me bhuya, the desire for the moksha is a qualification? How can it be? The answer is that that desire will automatically happen when the qualification is attained. So you know that you are amply qualified for knowledge when there is a desire for knowledge. And when will that desire for knowledge be? When moksha me bhuyad vichya, may I attain moksha. So when all the desires are transformed into desires for moksha. And further, the desire for moksha also is transformed into desire for knowledge. Because then I realize that how can I become free? That every desire, everything that I accomplish is limited. What I am seeking is limited. And that every action is limited. The result of every action is limited. And so a limited result cannot give me the limitless. And not even a series of actions can become limitless, because a series also is going to be limited. And like this, when you think, then you realize that if this, keep on fulfilling desires, is not really serving my own interest. And when I realize, what is it that will serve my own interest? Then the healthy desire of moksha, or that healthy relationship with objects of the world. It is not that when you say that, give the desires, meaning start hating the objects, or you become, you have some kind of disgust for them. It is not that we have a healthy relationship with the world. That there is no relation, because desire is an unhealthy relationship, really. To look upon this world as an object of pleasure is an unhealthy relationship. For us, the world is nothing but God. If you want to look upon it, you look upon it as something that you can worship, and not something that you can exploit and extract and enjoy. That's why prasada buddhi. The world is nothing but the creation of the Lord and Lord Himself, and so whatever world gives me is prasada. So anyway, that's all apart. The idea is that everything will change. Once the maturity in the life comes, the whole perception of life will change. So sannyasa will happen as a matter of course, not that you will take sannyasa. Sannyasa is nothing but eshanatraya tyagaha, or going out of these three eshanas alone is called sannyasa. Only when I become free from eshanas of cravings, that I can become free from the action. I can give up action only when I am not interested in the result of action. Otherwise, how can I give up action? So karma sannyasa is actually a consequence of eshanatraya sannyasa. Eshanatraya sannyasa is a consequence of viveka. So first qualification is, and the last qualification is viveka. Atma, anatma, viveka. Discrimination between self and non-self. Or nitya, nitya vastu viveka. Or viveka, discrimination between nitya vastu and anitya vastu. Says Anaviri Vitthanam Sanyasatmanam Kritva Kankshita Mokshetum Jnanamuddishya Shravanadi Avartayadhi. So Maharshaka said that Eshanadhyam Kamaha Ataha Asmad Vidusha Vitthatavya. So Ataha, since this Kama is anartha hetu, so Kama is all, it's not only enough to know that all these Eshanas are Kama, but Kama is Akhila Anartha Hetu. We should also realize that this Kama is the Hetu, the cause of Akhila Anartha. All the Anartha in the life is due to Kama. Ataha, therefore, so Ataha Anartha Hetutvat. Since Kama is Anartha Hetu, therefore Asmad Vidusha Vitthatavya. Therefore Vidusha Vitthatavya. Ataha Ishnadvyatmakat Kamat Vidusha Vitthatavya. Therefore, the Vidwan must Vitthatavya grow out of this. Not one kicks, it's not kicking. It is growing out of something. The growth is something that naturally happens. So one should grow out of this littleness in life, that's all. One should grow out of this little desires. And one should grow into the desire for the limitless. So Lord Krishna says, Durena Hyevaram Karma Buddhyoga Dhananjaya Buddho Shanamanvichya Krupanaha Phalahetavaha. So those people who perform karma merely for karma phala are krupanaha. They don't know what they are missing. So if you perform karma, make sure that you perform karma even with a desire for moksha, and not performing karma merely for some desire of a limited end. Let karma become a means of moksha. And as much as jnanam is moksha sadhanam, let karma become the means of jnanam rather than merely means of some limited result. And therefore, Anandagiri goes a step further. Vitthanam sannyasatmakam krutva. Suppose you give all the desire and take sannyasa, and what will you do? Will you wander around? Says no. Kankshita moksha hetum jnanamuddishya. Kankshita moksha. See, all those Vaishnanas are given up. All the Vaishnanas are now converted into moksha. Kankshita moksha. Now the moksha that is kankshita or desired. Tad hetum jnanamuddishya. The jnana is the moksha hetu uddishya. Keeping that in mind. Shravanadi avartaye. Therefore, one should go to the teacher and Shravanadi avartaye. One should do what? Avartanam. That's all. Keep on repeatedly listening to the Shastra. Avartanam. Shravanadi. Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyasanam. Keep on doing that until the knowledge takes place. So, until then, this Jnana Sadhana must be pursued. Okay, we will continue. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamidachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Ase Eka Eva Sokamayata Jaya Mesya Prajayaya Savittam Mesya Karma Kurviya Iti Etavan Vaikamaha Necham Chanato Bhuyo Vinde Tasmadavi Etahi Etati Kamade Jaya Mesya Prajaya Savittam Mesya Karma Kurviyete Sayavadavi Etesham Ekaitam Na Prapnode Akrishna Eva Tavan Manyate Tasya Krishnata Mana Eva Syatma Vajjaya Nah Praja Chakshur Manusham Vikram Chakshushahi Tadvindate Shrotram Daivam Shrotrena Hi Tacchunate Atmivasya Karma Atmana Hi Karma Karote Shaishapanto Yajna Pantah Pashuh Pantah Purushah Pantamidam Sarvam Jaidam Kincha Jaidam Sarvam Apnode Evam Veda. Etavan Vaikamaha न इच्छञ्चन अतः भूयः विन्देत्. This was discussed. Etavan vai kamaha. This much indeed is kamaha, the desire. This is the scope of desire, it is said. What the Upanishad specifically mentions is a desire pertaining to jaya, putra, vitta, karma. The desires that are mentioned here, this is called the sadhana ishana. The ishana of hankering for sadhana, for the means. Naturally the means are hankered for the sake of the end. And so what one really desires through these means are ends, namely the three lokas, the Manusya loka, Antariksha loka, Swarga loka. So they are the sadhyeshana, the eshanas for sadhya. And Vashikar explained how the eshanas are hankering for sadhanam and sadhya are not really different from each other, in as much as one presupposes the other. The sadhanam or the means presupposes the end, and the end also presupposes the means, and therefore, in as much as each one presupposes the other, therefore, each one automatically includes the other. Therefore, the Upanishad has not mentioned both the kinds of eshanas. All that is mentioned here is sadhana ishana of jaya, putra, vitta, karma, which, as you said, become a means for attainment of those three worlds, and therefore, etavan vai kamaha. This eshana alone, hankering, has been expressed here as is indicated here in the word kamaha. So kama is desire, or hankering, or craving. What kama was explained too is, so kama means in terms of bhava, so the desire is called kama. This much is the scope of desire. All one can desire in one's life are nothing beyond sadhanam and sadhya. Beyond means and end, there is nothing to desire. Or, if our kama is understood as the object of desire, then this is the extent of the object of desire, that you can desire what is called sadhanam or the sadhya. Therefore, the desire can pertain to sadhanam and sadhya, and what can be desired also cannot be above and beyond sadhanam and sadhya. Therefore, sadhanam means sadhya the end. Between the two, these include the complete scope of desire and what is desired. The interesting thing is, as long as one is ignorant, naturally this is ignorant aviveki. Katham prana etavattam avadharyate kamananam anantatvat. The question is, the desires are endless actually. How do you say that the desires are only confined to these two-fold desires of sadhanam and sadhya? It is said that anantahi kamaha. It is said that the desires are endless or countless. So how can we say that the desires are only confined to these two, sadhanam and sadhya? So Upanishad says, naichanchana ataha bhuyaha vindave. Even if one wants more, one cannot get more than this. Actually, one does want more than merely sadhana and sadhya, because we find that everything is sadhana and everything becomes sadhya. You look at it. So, jaya and putra, vitta, karma, all of these are sadhana, but he desires them. So he desires jaya, putra, vitta, karma, that means that they are sadhya. When he gets them, they themselves become a means for attainment of something else, namely swarga or antariksha or whatever. When you get there, there also becomes a means of something else, because these experiences in Prithvi Loka or whatever, they mean samskara renew and then become the cause of further desires. And thus every end also becomes a means for something else. In this world, there is no such thing as an end. There is no such thing as ultimate. What appears to be ultimate at this time, from a given standpoint, turns out to be merely a stepping stone for something else. Thus, when you are climbing the mountain, what appears to be a peak, when you reach there, you don't realize that is just the base of some other peak. When you reach there, you find out that is just the base of yet another peak. And thus this goes round and round, leading you, of course, fortunately in case of the mountain climbing, someday you will reach the top. Here on the other hand, that is not the case. As long as one hopes to fulfill the basic desire of one's life through these means and ends, so long one can never hope to really fulfill the desire behind all the desires. Because the desire behind all the desires, either you say to become free from desire, or to become complete, which is neither a means nor an end. So really what one is seeking in one's life is something that cannot be classified either as means or end. That is the reason why through the attainment of means and end, one can never transcend this whole chain of means and end. Because every end turns out a means for something else. In short, when we attain a certain end, it reveals its inadequacy. As long as the end or the goal is far away from me, so long it promises to be all that I need. And only when I attain that end or the goal, then that very goal reveals its inadequacy. Yad viridam tadalpam martyam dukkhatmakam. As long as the thing is not understood properly, not known properly, not directly experienced, so long we have all kinds of hopes and expectations about that. But when I attain a given end, whatever it be, and when I directly experience it, then that very thing, the limitation of that thing are revealed to me. And then I realize that it is inadequate, because anything that is limited is not going to be adequate for me, and thus I keep on discovering the inadequacy of different ends in my life. In as much as I want to be adequate, therefore, naturally every end which reveals itself inadequate becomes therefore a ground for desire of some other end which promises adequacy. Until that other end also is achieved, and that also reveals its inadequacy, and this is how the process goes on from one birth to another birth. One goes from one death to another death as long as one sees a duality between myself and what I want to achieve. So we say, Ichchannavi, even though one meaning Ichchannavi, even though one desires, one cannot gain more than that. One does desire, except that one does not know what one desires. As long as the viveka is not there, Parikshalokan Karmatidan Brahmano